Oh, hey, I didn't see you standing there. What's that? You want to learn how to play Marksman Hunter in patch 11.2, the last season of The War Within, and there's only 1 month left in the season, and you still need to hit your 1800, your 2100, your 2400, all of your Glad wins, your 2700 or beyond? Yeah, sure, I can help you with that. No problem. Let's talk about it. So my name is Jaywaz. I'm a rank 1 hunter, and I'm here to help you achieve all of your rating goals this season, so you can finish whatever achievements you want to accomplish this season. At this point, I feel pretty confident in my information, and I'm ready to share with you what I know and how I play Marks Hunter. And just as a disclaimer, like my information or how I play is not like biblical or anything, but this is just what I do and what works for me. So take from it what you will, and maybe you can learn something from it. Okay, cool. Let's just get right into it. So I wrote down a bunch of notes for us to talk about. So first things first, talking about your race of choice. I think Orc, Night Elf, and High Mountain are approximately equal to each other. These each shine in different scenarios, but over the course of a large sample size of games, I think on average, they're about equal to each other. And past that, you can play anything you want. It doesn't really matter all that much. Okay, cool. Moving on to gear, stats, and embellishments. So I would personally recommend getting your verse to about 30%, and then dump everything into mastery. You want to maximize your mastery. And then past that, given the choice between crit or haste, you simply pick based on personal preference. We're going to run double elemental focusing lens like we have for the entire expansion. And then for our 4 set, we're going to run all but chest or all but helmet based on personal preference. Okay. Now, each of my hunters have different approximate mock-ups of that stat setup, and I'll show you what this hunter is running. Okay, this is my exact gear on this particular hunter. I'm running tier helmet, crafted verse mastery neck, tier shoulders, the Reshi cape with the mastery gem, conquest verse mastery chest, crafted verse mastery bracers, conquest verse mastery weapon, tier gloves, crafted verse mastery belt, tier legs, crafted verse mastery feet, crafted verse mastery ring × 2. And then we have our regular trinket and we have our insignia trinket. Okay. And in terms of enchants and gems, I'm running the Enduring Bloodstone, and then 8x, these are called Versatile Onyx. It gives you Mastery Verse. There's 8 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you should have 8 gems and then 1 meta gem, which is the Enduring Bloodstone. Enchants, we're using Burrowing Rapidity on back, Crystalline Radiance on chest, Speed on bracers, Stamina or speed, whatever you want, on feet. And then I'm running double Radiant Verse on my rings. And what this combination of gear gives me is, in PvP combat, gives me literally exactly 30% verse. You can see right here, I have 30.02% verse. And this gives me like a perfect combination of stats right there. This much mastery, this much haste, this much crit. Okay. And yeah, keep in mind, like, you can kind of tailor these different pieces to your liking. Like, let's say you're playing a super damp comp in 3s and you want to maximize your versatility, you could drop some mastery, for example, and gain extra verse. Or conversely, like, let's say you only play solo shuffle and you don't really care about 30 verse or higher, then you can drop some verse. Maybe you could go to like 25 verse and get more mastery so that you can end games quickly in solo shuffle, for example. Okay. But yeah, that comes down to play style and personal preference and what comp you're playing and such. Okay. Cool. So let's go into our talent builds. So primarily, I would we're going to be talking about primarily Sentinel today. Now, Dark Ranger is viable, and you can definitely one shot with Black Arrow, but I definitely prefer Sentinel. I think over the course of a large amount of games, I think on average Sentinel just feels more reliable to me and consistent. So I won't talk about Dark Ranger too much, but I will leave all of the imports to these builds in the description. So talking about Sentinel here, I'm going to assume you have some prior knowledge of the trees, so I'm not going to talk about every single talent because that'll take too long. You don't want to sit through that. But I will talk about certain points that you can move around. So talking about the left tree. So a lot of people ask me, why do you put 2 points into trigger finger? Like, why do you care about attack speed? Because, like, let's be honest, right? Like, let's take a match. Your auto attack is like not even 2% of your damage, right? So why do you care about increasing your attack speed? Well, this tooltip is kind of misleading. I don't know why it's this way, but you'll notice my aim shot is a 2.4 second cast. And if I take these 2 points out and put them anywhere else, and look what happens to my cast here, it turns from a 2.4 second cast into a 2.8 second cast. Okay, so this tooltip is misleading or something. I'm not sure why this is. And keep in mind, like, we'll get into this later, you are actually instant casting most of your aim shots, but you're also, like, throughout the course of a game, you're casting a lot of aim shots too. So every single time you're casting the aim shot, it's going to be 0.4 seconds faster. Okay, so that's why, you know, I prefer to keep 2 points into trigger finger. But this is something you can mess around with if you like. Past this, I think Binding Shackles is super underrated. A lot of people default into Blackrock Munitions because you're thinking, okay, more damage is good, right? Explosive shot, damn, that sounds good. But then you think about it and you, like, go over your damage profile. Explosive shot is doing, you know, 7% of my damage this game, for example. Now, if we think about it, is increasing 7% of my damage by 8%, is that really going to be very impactful? Most of the time, like, probably not. But what could be game changing is if you get, for example, a double binding shot on, like, a double melee team on you. Let's say you're playing against DHDK or a warrior enhanced, and you get a double binding shot. You just decreased the enemy team's damage by 20% on you if you hit 2 people with it, right? Or if you pre-scatter a rogue or you pre-scatter a mage, they're going to deal 10% less damage to you on their go. So this is actually super slept on, in my opinion. And I'm locking in this most of the time. What else can you do with this 1 point? You can get Intimidation CDR if you want to set up for your own traps more frequently, more reliably. If you're playing against comps like Unholy DKs or Assassination Rogues, Shadow Priests, etc., this is a really good point. And I try to only pick this if I can get, like, double value, like double dip on this, if there's 2 classes that this works against. So, for example, if you have Unholy DK, Assassination Rogue on the same team, then this gets, like, very high value. Okay. Another example would be like Assassination Rogue Shadow Priest. This gives you high value. And another one that this is good into that people don't think about is Feral Shadow Priest. The Feral is going to run their Infected Wounds talent, which is their mortal wounds debuff, and that's a disease. So if you play Emergency Salve into Feral SP, you're actually double dipping on the disease dispel. Okay. And then lastly, the final thing you can do with this point is if you're playing against any team where you know they're going to be stacked up and you get value out of AoE purge, you can run Kodo. And this is more rare, but if you ever play into like a double melee R Druid or a double melee Prez or a double melee Archon, you can get high value out of Kodo Trank. So that's another option you have there. Okay, but most of the time my default pick is Binding Shackles, because I think this is higher value than people realize sometimes. Okay, talking about the right side. So this is my staple build, and there's one thing you could change here, but I wouldn't recommend it too much. If for some reason you know that you're not going to be getting any cleave, you could technically take light ammo off and go into on target for more haste on your spotter's mark windows. But this is pretty rare, and most of the time you get value out of your cleave, so you want to play light ammo most games, I would say. All right. And you'll notice I'm running a short true shot build. I have Calling the Shots and Sentinel Watch here. This brings your true shot from a 2-minute cooldown down to a 1-minute 15 cooldown with the combination of these two. And what this allows you to do is you get more true shots throughout the course of a game. Yes, they won't be as strong and as bursty, but let's be honest, like with the abundance of CC in this game, like people are instantly going to peel your true shot anyway. So sometimes it feels like pouring all of your eggs into this like 2-minute true shot burst window is ineffective, because you're going to get like stunned, gouged, disarmed, mortal coiled, feared, etc. right? And you're not going to get value out of your true shot. So by kind of like quote unquote nerfing your burst window, but getting more of them, it feels more effective with this meta, I would say. If you want to have, a laugh and try to really one-shot people, then you just do this. You do Unerring Vision and Eyes Closed, and that's your 2-minute true shot build. Okay. And then there is one more Sentinel build that I'll show you, and I don't think this is necessarily I think the other build is better. This is kind of more of a meme build where you're leaning into this 2-minute true shot window with the talents I mentioned previously. And we're going into improved bullet storm, which is called Incendiary ammunition. And we're going into, we're getting 5% flat on aim shot and rapid fire, which is pretty significant. And then we're going into Ohn'aran winds, which there's a bug with this that I'll show you later. Okay. Again, I don't think this build is as good as the previous one, but this would be your one-shot build, but it's just not very consistent, I would say. And it's also slower because you're not getting fast casts on your aim shots with improved streamline down here. Okay, and then one more thing I'll talk about here. When do you know whether you play tank pet or whether you play freedom pet here? Simply ask yourself in a matchup, will I avoid more damage by playing freedom than I will be by just being tankier? And if the answer is yes, then you play freedom. I will say I usually play with a rep paladin, so it feels like I don't need freedom. I don't need 2 freedoms most of the time. So most of the time I play tank, but you can run this if you need to. Okay. Cool. And let me know if you have any questions about the talent builds. And then, lastly, PvP talents. You always run survival tactics. You always run chimeral sting. And then your flex pick is between Ranger's Finesse and Big Conch Shot. Okay. Ranger's Finesse, you can think of this as, I call it big volley. It just means that every volley after your first one, because realistically you're not using this on your first volley, has an increased radius and an increased duration. And as an added bonus, it also CDRs your turtle. So sometimes with this talent, you can get turtle 20, 40 to 60 seconds faster than normally. So that's pretty nice. And this is actually a damage increase. You can think of it, this is a damage talent, because it's increasing the radius and duration of your volley. Okay, and then when do I run big conch shot? Basically, this talent is super good when you're running down classes like a mage or a warlock, where you're having that 20% additional slow, taking your conch shot from a 50% slow to a 70% slow is pretty significant. You will feel the difference. And this is really good for like gassing down one target when you're chasing them. And then it's also good for doing the opposite. It's very good for pulling melee out and making them regret chasing you. So classes like warrior, windwalker, rogue, classes that you can pull and kite, this talent has high value into as well. Okay, so yep, again, always these two talents, and then you flex between big conch and Ranger's Finesse based on the matchup. All right, cool. So let's get into the fun part. So talking about damage. To preface this section, I want to go over a couple of core mechanics of marksman. The first one is called precise shots. And basically what this means is that every time you cast an aim shot, I'll just hard cast it for demonstration, you get this little buff called precise shots. And you spend precise shots with your arcane shot. Okay? And then what happens then is when you spend precise shots, you get streamline. And streamline increases the haste of your aim shot. So you basically want to tell yourself, you always arcane shot after aim shot, basically. So you always aim shot, arcane shot, and then you get streamline back. And now you can fast cast your aim shot. Okay, just like that. So it's that feedback loop of, you know, aim shot, arcane shot, aim shot, arcane shot. That's basically what you're doing, okay? The next mechanic is streamline, which we get from spending precise shots. Okay. Past that, we have our spotter's mark. When we spend precise shots, we have a chance to apply spotter's mark. And this increases the damage of our next aim shot. So let's see if I can get one here. So I'm going to keep spending precise shots until I get one. And I just got one right there. Okay. And then this simply increases our aim shot damage. So that there's that feedback loop again. Okay. If you do this correctly, you're going to get rewarded for it. So that's your cycle. Okay. And then the last mechanic that we'll talk about is called lock and load. And it is right here, actually. So your auto attacks have a chance to make your next aim shot instant cast, which, by the way, you're attacking faster, right? Won't you get more chances of lock and load? Think about that, huh? Okay. The next ways that we can get lock and load is by our explosive shot casts, which is activated, of course, by casting explosive shot, but also by casting volley with our salvo talent. Okay. So 3 ways to get lock and load: random on auto attacks, by casting your explosive shot, and by casting your volley. Okay. Cool. And then one final mechanic that doesn't have to do with the right tree, but it has to do with the Sentinel tree, is a Lunar Storm. Basically what this means is that you want to rapid fire as often as possible. Your rapid fire is a large part of your damage, but it also applies your owl debuff, which is like the blue circle that follows the target, and it increases all of your damage by 10% on that target, in addition to dealing some damage on its own. Okay, and this also resets your rapid fire every 30 seconds. So there is something that happens here where you could track the debuff if you want, but basically what this means is we're gonna watch this come down, and I'll show you something here. And this further incentivizes the reason that you want to use rapid fire on cooldown. Is you can see here when this is about to expire, if I do a rapid fire like right now, for example, Boom. Watch when this expires, my rapid fire resets. Okay. So what this means is that you don't want to like already have a rapid fire available when your lunar storm resets, because then you wasted a rapid fire. So this further incentivizes you. You want to use your rapid fire pretty much immediately, I would say. You never want to lose a rapid fire from your lunar storm expiring. Okay. And then as an added fun bit of info, because of our 4-set this season, when our owl is down, our aim shot actually does magic damage instead of physical damage. That's kind of cool. Okay. So this means it goes through like, this means that magic bop stops your magic damage aim shots. Yeah, kind of interesting. So yeah. So those are kind of like the core mechanics of marksman. And so now I'm going to demonstrate how to do damage with no cooldowns first. So I'm not going to press true shot or volley. So this is just your core priority system. It's rapid fire on cooldown, explosive shot on cooldown into aim shot, arcane shots. Okay, it looks like this. Rapid fire, explosive, aim shot, arcane shot. That's it. That's your damage. Okay. That's it at the core. So now let's factor in all of our cooldowns too. Okay, I'll wait for my lunar storm to reset here. All right. So this is like an example of a burst opener, and this is like a good single target burst opener, I would say. Now keep in mind that this changes from game to game. Anything could happen, so you have to improvise sometimes. But I'll often do something like this. I'll do a rapid fire, explosive shot, true shot, aim shot, arcane shot, volley, aim shot, arcane shot, and then you have your rapid fire back usually at that point. Okay, so it looks like this. Rapid fire, explosive shot, true shot, aim shot, arcane shot, your rapid fire resets, you want to use that. Now you volley, aim shot, arcane shot, explosive shot, aim shot, rapid fire, arcane shot, aim shot, arcane shot, reset, rapid fire, aim shot, arcane shot, reset, rapid fire, explosive shot, aim shot, and now your true shot is over. Okay, so you can see it's basically the same thing as I demonstrated earlier, but it's faster and it's really fun. Okay, it's just a little more fast paced. So you should practice that on the dummy a bunch, so you get into the flow of it and you don't have to think about it so much. Okay, but you'll see like the rules there is I'm always spending rapid fire on cooldown no matter what. I'm casting explosive shot, aim shot, arcane shot, always in that order pretty much, because I always want to consume my precise shots and I want to guarantee that I'm getting my streamline back for my next aim shot. Okay, cool. I often get asked, do I double tap my aim shot or do I double tap my rapid fire? And the answer is both, and it kind of just depends on what's going on. So one thing I'll say is that when 2 or 3 people are stacked up, I really love to double tap my rapid fires because the cleave damage it does is kind of atrocious. However, it can be stopped. So of course, rapid fire is a channel. So if you get stopped, even on the first tick of your double tapped rapid fire, you'll just lose your entire double tap, and that's really bad. The advantage of double tapping your aim shots like this is that it's instant, right? So if you get CC'd after, it doesn't matter because you already got your double tap off. Okay, but that's the risk of double tapping your aim shots. I have some examples of what a double tap rapid fire can look like, and it's pretty fun. So it's right here. So this is an example of waiting here for them to stack up, and once they're stacked, I preface this by throwing a binding shot down, and so that they're kind of stuck here into, I'll do like a volley, rapid fire, true shot, aim shot, and just dead. right? And not only did the healer die, but then the feral is also like half HP from the cleave, and that is primarily from Hydra and light ammo, that cleave there. Okay, so I'll show that one more time. So kind of wait for them to group up. It's good if you have a DK who can do this for you. Group them up. Blinding shot, volley, rapid fire, true shot, aim shot, dead. That's what that looks like. Okay. I have one more example of this. Kind of a similar scenario here. Let's see here. Now, this is against RMP. I see the mage and the priest are kind of hugging each other on this pillar. So I pre-silence the mage so he can't like blink away or something. Again, binding shot on top so they can't move, into a volley rapid fire aim shot. And just dead instantly. And you'll notice that that wasn't even a double tapped true shot aim shot. It was only a double tap rapid fire aim shot. Okay, I'll show that one more time. This is no true shot. That's what that looks like. Yeah, it's pretty insane. And the only reason this works is that they're stacked on top of each other. So it would not look like that if these double taps were not ricocheting from target to target. Okay, so those are the scenarios that you want to double tap your rapid fire in. All right. So let me know if you have any questions about the damage. I'll also demonstrate this other build that I was talking about and the bug with it. So my friend Chrome showed me this build, showed me this bug with Ohn'aran Winds. What this is supposed to do is apply one spotter's mark to 2 targets, but what it actually does is it applies sometimes 2 spotter's marks to 1 target, and that's what this looks like. Right here, I'm talking to this dummy. I just applied 2 spotter's marks to 1 target. Okay. So yeah, that's the bug. It's pretty hilarious. And like I said, you will one-shot people with this, but as you get to higher ratings and people start reacting to your damage windows, you're gonna get peeled, and you're not realistically gonna get this off reliably, I would say. So that's why I think the more arcane shot focus build is better, along with the short true shot version. All right, cool. So we'll move on to defense. So of course, just like every other hunter spec, your feign death is kind of like your bread and butter defensive ability. You want to use this aggressively and often throughout a game so that you get your feign death back so that you can use it again. However, you don't want to be completely careless with this. You do want to be somewhat thoughtful about when you press feign. So you want to use this in anticipation of high damage windows. So whether that's like an enhanced shaman ascendance, or like chaos bolts in the sky, or other aim shots in the sky, or a fire mage combust, these kind of things. Feign death is your bread and butter defensive ability. After feign death, we have multiple like low cooldown, low commitment defensives. All 3 of these, our exhilaration, our wall, and our Ross, are all low cooldown. So you want to be, again, somewhat proactive about using these. Like, you don't want to hold on these forever. And I would say, especially your exhilaration, with our natural mending talent, when you're doing your damage, so like I'll use my exil, and then as you're doing damage and you're spending focus like this, right? So you're actually going to be farming your exhilaration back. Okay, so this means that if you do this effectively, you can get multiple exhilarations off in the time that you could have gotten like 1, for example. So my recommendation is use exil aggressively to help out your healer, and then farm it back as you're playing the game and doing damage, right? And this will keep you healthier for longer and help out your healer a lot. So maybe your healer has more globals to go for CC or damage or heal your other teammate, things like that. Okay, and you'll see like I'll already, I'm farming my Exil back pretty quickly. Okay. As far as our wall, we do have 2 wall charges. So what this means is that, you are somewhat incentivized to use 1 charge early so that you can start farming back your charge. You don't want to sit on 2 walls for too long. And our Ross, so Ross does have a unique interaction with Marksman in that when Ross is active, you cannot apply Spotter's Mark. Okay. And this is especially important for our True Shot window because, True Shot is our highest damage window. And we also have an increased chance to apply Spotter's Mark during True Shot. So True Shot is typically a 30% chance to apply. True Shot increases this by 100%. So it goes from 30% chance to a 60% chance to apply Spotter's Mark. So what this means is that if possible, you do not want to Ross during your True Shot. So that being said, you will have to do it anyway sometimes, but just know that if possible, you do not want to use these 2 at the same time. Okay, and I'll show what that looks like here, just to prove what I'm saying. I'll use Ross, and then I'll use True Shot, and I did not apply a Spotter's Mark. Okay, so that's what that looks like. And then lastly, our turtle is, typically our last line of defense. Usually we use this last. However, I will say that with the Ranger's Finesse talent, we get turtle back faster than most people are used to. So sometimes, depending on the matchup, you can get away with using an early turtle to immune super high windows of damage and then farming your turtle back with Ranger's Finesse. Use it, 2-3 times throughout a threes match that goes like a little bit longer, right? In solo shuffle, it's shorter, so it's pretty unlikely that you'll even get 2 turtles in 1 game, but it's possible. It's happened to me before. So yeah, think about that too. All right. Cool. So I think that kind of wraps up what I have for you today. If you have questions, please hit me up on YouTube. I also stream at twitch.tv/jwazir. I'll have the link in the description. So feel free to come by and ask me questions there when I'm live and watch some cool gameplay and listen to some cool music and hang out. Okay, cool. Thank you for watching and happy holidays and good luck with your end of the season. Bye-bye.